Hey, what's happening, everybody? Thank you for tuning on in. Tobin here with you. You guys are lovely. You know that? Can I just say that? Can I just say that it's lovely to have you here on this lovely channel? So thanks for checking us on out. Appreciate it. And let's get to it, man. It's been a little bit quiet on the Miami Heat front for a few days as it's been kind of mild ever since the Bam Donovan Mitchell extravaganza this weekend. The only news on whale front seems to be Kevin Durant's allegedly going to have this meeting with Joe Tsai, and I'm curious to see what comes out of that. I think that it'll be interesting to see, is he going to be more forceful in his demand? Are they going to come to a peace here because they don't like the offers? I don't know. That's going to be an interesting one. Can they get, one more year under the belt? Is it like a last dance type of thing where it's like, hey, let's give this one more run. Let's see how it goes, and maybe feelings will be in a better spot. I don't know. But I do think that the Nets are in this spot where it's like they don't want to be the team that lost, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, and James Harden all in the span of a few months. But as far as the Heat's concerned with their own roster, there's so much focus on the whale hunting that you got to also keep an eye on what could be coming back. And what could be just the case of the old rib man, the run it back squad. And Kyle Lowry is definitely one of those fascinating things of the offseason, because Kyle Lowry got called out pretty hard by Pat Riley to get into better shape. And he was at a golf tournament with Nick Nurse. Nick Nurse, his former Raptors coach, is kind of weird. He loves Toronto. Would that happen? Like, was Dwayne Wade allowed to go golf at like Eric Spoelstra's golf tournament? I don't think Eric Spoelstra has a golf tournament, but you get my drift, all right? There was such a stink made around the league about Kyle Lowry and tampering, and now he's allowed to go golf willy-nilly with his former head coach. It's interesting. That's all I'll say. Maybe I'm a little bit sensitive because the Dolphins just got jabbed for tampering, and Kyle Lowry wasn't tampering, but it was jumping the gun. I'm just saying. But Kyle Lowry was asked about, interesting, Toronto media. He is up there, and was asked about what some of the issues that he dealt with this year, and really felt that his personal issues, his family issue that he has been dealing with, he is still dealing with it. He says, quote, "I'm still dealing with it. It's a situation that's when it's better, I'll talk about it more, but it's definitely something that has kind of derailed my whole season. Still to its day, it's something that I deal with every single day, and I actually got a phone call about it right now." Kyle Lowry did take 2 breaks during the season. If you guys remember, he went away for about a couple of weeks, and I think he missed something to the effect. I think he missed what was it? It was 9 games from January 17th to the 1st. And then later that month in February, he missed another 4. So he feels that was the biggest issue for him last year, and that really derailed his season, not the injuries. Now, I don't know if they go hand in hand, because, look, the biggest thing in the Heat's playoffs was not continuity per se. It was Kyle Lowry's hamstrings not working, which also had a domino effect of not having continuity. But, I think that for Kyle, we know that Pat Riley had the pretty strong call out of him at the end of the season and telling him to get into better shape. And he definitely looks great. Now, apparently he doesn't talk about his off-season stuff. He says, quote, "If you know me, you know what I do. I don't talk about it. I just go out there and I operate."
If you know me, you know what I do. I don't talk about it. I just go out there and operate. But, like I said, we'll get to that time when that time comes. For now, it's about golf.
What was last season like for you? I mean, obviously very different from the 9 seasons previous. Mm-hmm. Was it more of an adjustment than you thought it would be, or less of an adjustment?
No, when you're going into a year, I was 16 last year, it's not much of an adjustment for you personally. You just kind of figure out what you can do, what you can't do, and what's the vibe like, right? What's the coaching staff like? What's the organization like? New things for my kids, going to school, them wearing shorts every day, and, just, growing and getting bigger, and, it's just like, it was different, but it was a move that was, had to happen, or it did happen, and I'm happy, and it worked out for both sides, both parties.
So we'll see if this gets to a point where it's better going into this year, and Kyle Lowry's more happy going into this year, and it does sound like, yeah, with all the personal turmoil that he was going through and the life changes. I know that for like a guy that I've talked to a lot, who's not in the same sport, but a guy like Sergei Bobrovsky, I spoke with, his first season with the Panthers, and I spoke to him probably like every 3 weeks, and he talked a lot of that challenge. And nobody ever wants to hear that because these guys Bob makes $10 million a year, and Lowry makes damn near $30 million a year. So nobody has sympathy for, your kids have to wear shorts and you have to go to a new school. Must be tough. Like a lot of people don't want to hear that. But in relation to these guys wanting everything to be as perfect as possible and be good at their craft, it is a thing. It is a thing for a guy like Lowry. But for him, not being in the shape, like that not being the biggest issue, it's the personal. I will say, I don't look at this and say like Kyle Lowry being in bad shape is what led to the hamstring issues. I don't know if it did. I don't know if it did. And everything that was, I'm sure, mentally weighing on him, maybe that was a big issue. But ultimately at the end of it, he did have a bad injury. And that is the thing that derailed it the most. When Kyle Lowry was on the floor for the Heat, he looked like he was able to do some good things. I mean, the Kyle chaos, the chemistry with Jimmy, that stuff seemed like it was there. And he was certainly a great leader. And a lot of people really appreciated the influence that he had on his teammates on the court. That is for certain. Kyle Lowry had a good regular season for the Miami Heat. Maybe not like the most eye-pleasing season statistically, and he certainly was maybe unselfish to a fault, which is something even the Toronto fans will say that he had. But you definitely saw some of the elements of beauty of his game. They just didn't translate to the playoffs because he couldn't stay on the floor. That was the biggest issue. And for me, I'm just scared of the age. Like, that's the thing that I worry about. I'm just like, okay, he's 36, going to be 37. Is this something that's going to get better? Is this going to be something that will be a one-time deal? He's not a guy, Kyle Lowry's been mostly a durable player in his career, but, Father Time catches up with everybody, and the size that he's at, and the pace and the hard play that he likes to play at with taking those crazy charges and, all the energy that he puts into, just talking all game with the referees and, just that chaotic style of play that he likes to go out there with. Is this something that's going to affect him throughout his Heat career? I don't know. If they can go about a way where they're mindful with him, in more dribs and drabs as opposed to being away for the team for 2 weeks, maybe that's the best way to go about this. Jimmy Butler, they have a maintenance program for him per se. Like if Jimmy Butler is not a day where he is not feeling 100%, they tell him to take off because ultimately you want Jimmy Butler playing like a crazy person once the postseason arrives. That's the whole point of it. That's what that is where you want playoff Jimmy to be at his optimal playoffs. And for Kyle, I think it would be the same thing. This team would be so much different if they got anything from him in the postseason. And, certainly showed some flashes of guts in Game 6, no doubt, but was mostly a no-show, was mostly a guy who just gave him a whole lot of nothing in this postseason. And they devote a lot of the salary cap to him. And they devoted a lot of the salary cap to Kyle Lowry and to Duncan Robinson. And Duncan Robinson, by the end of things, was getting benched. And Kyle Lowry, by the end of it, was injured. And that's tough. And they needed to figure it out. Because all of this stuff about, it's funny. We talk about this Heat team and the taboo of them running it back. And I'm guilty of it too. But we forget that getting Kyle Lowry last year for them was a very, very big deal. That was their Orca. That was supposed to be their piece. He's very close with Jimmy Butler. Getting the true point guard, taking the burden off of Jimmy and Bam and facilitating, that was supposed to be their big piece to this run. And they really didn't get a look at it in the postseason. They really didn't, and certainly not at even close to 100% levels. So if you're a Heat fan and you're like, I ain't so worried about not getting Kevin Durant. I'm not so worried about not getting Donovan Mitchell. If you give me a healthy Kyle Lowry, a healthy Tyler Hero, and a Victor Oladipo who has a real off season, while on paper, we know this team will be disrespected. But, man, I got to tell you, if they got Donovan Mitchell, they would be disrespected. The only way that people are going to give the Heat any kind of, like, real title favorite odds or predictions is if they get Kevin Durant without giving up Bam. Outside of that, they will be disrespected no matter what. And so I do think it is upon Heat fans. It's okay to want change, and it's okay for you want your team to be in the game and want big swings. But if you do take a step back and you do think that, all right, these are the things that I can believe in going into next year, I'm not going to fault you for it. Kyle's age, though, does worry me. I'm not going to sit here and say it doesn't. Like, out of all of that stuff, if you told me, like, what are the things that you're most skeptical of? Tyler Hero being able to succeed in the playoffs, I believe in that. I think that could be a thing. I've seen him do it when he was 19 years old. I think he's getting better every single year. He's going to get physically stronger. I believe in Tyler Hero. Victor Oladipo being able to contribute even more in the playoffs, I believe in that. You know, now he gets a real off season. His damn Instagram is like a bleeping Rocky movie. I believe in that. With Kyle, I believe in his ability. I'm scared of his age. And I'm scared that we may not see what the best version of Kyle Lowry is ever in a Heat jersey. That does worry me. I'm not going to sit here and say it doesn't. But he certainly does look like he's putting in the work and doing the right things to get himself in the best physical shape for next season. It does worry you also a little bit, though, that he says whatever he's dealing with, he's still dealing with. And if it was a problem last year and it was that heavy on him, then who's to say it's not going to be next year? And I don't know. It's you hope just from that standpoint that he is in a good spot and that he's healthy. I think that's another thing. Like, if you're dealing with personal stuff and on top of it you weren't healthy and you don't have that escape and you're not playing your best, that can also really, really weigh on your mind and almost hit you worse than it was even from the standpoint of, hey, it was bad and whatever he was going through, you don't wish that on anybody, especially if it's a burn all year. But if you don't have that escape or that outlet either, then it's like a double whammy. It's a double hit. So this is a hope that everything for Kyle Lowry goes in a better direction next year.